Look, it's welcome we're having this debate today, and we've had 3 ministers speak at the start of this debate, which is something we've been calling for in some fashion for a long time. That is a coordinated, coherent response from government. We haven't heard it enough. I think the opening contributions from the ministers, I think an awful lot of us would agree with what was said and would agree with the sentiments that were made. But this is what we want to see, and I think we need more regular debates like this in the Dáil on this issue in particular, because it is an issue of vital importance, an issue that's something that we need to show leadership from the top down in Irish politics, because we haven't been as a legislature, and that's something that I want to see more of. Look, we've been on record as asking for a more coherent response from government. We want to see a minister with sole responsibility for this issue. Minister O'Gorman has stated, and he's right, that he has been available and open to members of this House for communication and information. And there's no doubt he has, but that is not a good system. To try and grab a minister in the corridor or ring him, or to get information on an immediate basis. So it's something that does need to be improved upon. But I also do understand, and it can't be unsaid, that there is a concern that I imagine the minister does have in terms of sharing information with some public representatives and public representatives in this House. Because there are public representatives in this House who I would not trust with certain information in relation to where new arrivals are going to be accommodated. A small minority, but there has been instances where representatives have gone and said things at public meetings or have dropped leaflets, and that quite simply is something that we cannot stand for. So while the majority on both sides of the House, I think, have been acting in concert in terms of welcoming new arrivals, wanting the system to be better, wanting to be able to share information and share better processes for assisting anyone who comes into this country, there are those who have not, and that is something, and sometimes they couch their language, they think quite carefully, but we can all see through it, and those watching in certainly see through it, and they know it when they see it. A lot has been made of the policing, and I listened to Drew Harris talk about the policing strategy, and it was reflected in 2 of the minister's comments there today, that the guards are playing a long game, that there has to be intelligence gathering, building up a greater picture of what's going on. And I think all of us can understand an element of that, but I draw the line when it comes to blockading accommodation centres. There's no long game that has to be played there when you have masked individuals waving tricolours, turning buses around, getting onto buses and doing head counts. It is absolutely abominable behaviour, and the guards should have a zero tolerance approach to that and should be ending that as soon as it happens. There's absolutely no space for that. It's a shame. No matter where those blockades take place, whether they're in my own constituency or other constituencies, they should not happen. And there is no way the guards should be playing a long game in relation to that. And I don't accept what the Commissioner has said on that. We are all conscious as well that an awful lot of the accommodations are temporary, they are unsuitable, but it is better than being on the streets. That's the emergency we're operating in at the moment. But we have to acknowledge that what we are witnessing at the moment is a dramatic expansion of the direct provision system, a system that has failed for many, many years. So the bringing on stream of suitable accommodation for anyone who's in Ireland and needs accommodation is something that we have spoken about many times and needs to be spoken about again, because the alternative to these repurposed warehouses or office buildings or old hotels is sleeping on the streets or sleeping in tents. And I agree with one of the previous speakers. What we saw last week in terms of the burning of tents on Sandwith Street was a turning point. It was one of the most despicable acts I've ever seen. It is there's no other word to describe it than a fascist act on Irish soil, and I think it has galvanised those many, many thousands of people all over the country who want to welcome and want to work in their communities, to welcome new arrivals, no matter where they come from, no matter what their skin colour is, no matter what circumstances they arrive under. That is the Ireland that we know. They are the people that we are working with and working for. The language that we use here, be it coming from government or elsewhere, needs to be backed up by pushing back on this far right on the streets. And when we see it, we cannot allow fascism to take hold. We cannot allow the far right to get into our communities, spread misinformation and harness negative sentiment. We've been successful in the past. This is a test for all of us and a test that we must pass. Thank you.
Sherlock.